The war tent flickers with dying candlelight as Robb Stark stares at the map before him. His eyes trace the lines between the North and King's Landing, between victory and disaster. One decision, one choice, one marriage that will change everything. Your Grace, Lady Margaery Tyrell has arrived. Robb looks up from the map. His heart pounds. This is it, the moment that decides if his father's death meant something or nothing at all. The young wolf stands as Margaery enters the tent. She wears a green dress that reminds him of summer, of peace, of everything this war has stolen from him. Her smile is warm, but her eyes are sharp. She's studying him just as he studies her. Lord Stark, she says softly, bowing her head. Lady Margaery. His voice sounds rough even to his own ears. Please, sit. She takes the offered chair with grace. Greywind lifts his head from the corner, watching her with yellow eyes. Margaery doesn't flinch. Instead, she extends her hand slowly, letting the direwolf sniff her fingers. He's beautiful, she whispers, like the stories say. Robb feels something shift in his chest. Most southern ladies would scream at the sight of his wolf. But Margaery Tyrell sits calmly, stroking Greywind's fur like she's done it 1,000 times before. My grandmother sends her regards. Margaery continues, pulling her hand back. She wanted me to tell you that the North remembers. And so does the Reach. Does it? Robb can't keep the bitterness from his voice. My father is dead. Presso. And every lord south of the neck seems to think this war is just a game. Margaery's face changes. The practiced smile fades. What remains is something real, something fierce. My father wants power, she says quietly. My brother wants glory. But I. She pauses, choosing her words carefully. I want to stop watching children starve because lords play their games. Beecher. I want to stop hearing about girls my age being dragged into alleys by soldiers who wear the lion on their shields. I want this war to end, Lord Stark, and I think you do too. Robb stares at her. His mother's words echo in his mind. Marry for alliance. Marry for victory. Marry for the North. But looking at Margaery now, he wonders if maybe, just maybe, he could marry for something more. The Tyrells can give you 50,000 men, Margaery continues. Knights from the Reach, supplies, naughts from the Reach, supplies, gold, everything you need to take King's Landing and put Joffrey's head on a spike. Her voice drops lower. But my family needs something in return. They need a crown. I'm fighting for my father's justice, Robb says. Not a crown. Then fight for both. Margaery leans forward. Joffrey is a monster. Everyone knows it. The small folk hate him. The lords fear him. Even his own mother can barely control him. She reaches across the table, her hand stopping just short of his. You could be different. You could be the king who actually cares. Robb looks down at her hand. So close. So dangerous. And what would you be, he asks. The queen who whispers in my ear. Who pulls my strings? Margaery's laugh is soft but genuine. I would be the queen who makes sure you don't get yourself killed being noble. Her smile fades. The queen who helps you win. Outside the tent, Robb can hear his men laughing around their fires. Good men, northern men. Men who followed him because they believed in justice, in honor, in doing what's right. He thinks of his father, of the promise he made, of the debt he owes. Then he thinks of Talisa Maegor, the woman with kind eyes and gentle hands who patches up his wounded soldiers. The woman who makes his heart race every time she smiles. But Talisa can't give him 50,000 men. She can't end this war. She can't save his sisters or avenge his father. Margaery Tyrell can. If I agree, Robb says slowly, there will be conditions. Margaery nods. Name them. The North stays independent. We bend the knee to no one. Not now. Not ever. Agreed. My sisters must be returned safely. Both of them. That's not negotiable, of course. And Robb hesitates. Dot. I won't be your puppet. I won't sit on a throne while your family rules from the shadows. If we do this, we do it together, as equals. For a long moment, Margaery just looks at him. Then she stands, walks around the table, and extends her hand. Together then, she says, together. As equals, Robb takes her hand. Her grip is firm, strong. The grip of someone who means what she says. Together he agrees, and just like that, the war changes, the wedding happens quickly. Too quickly for some of the northern lords who grumble about southern flowers and summer nights. But Robb doesn't care about their grumbling. He cares about the army marching north from High Garden. He cares about the supply trains bringing food and weapons. He cares about the future he's building, one careful step at a time. Catelyn Stark watches from the side as her son exchanges vows with Margaery Tyrell. Tyrell. Her face is hard to read. Pride, worry, regret, maybe all three. You did the right thing, she tells him later in private. Your father would be proud. But Robb isn't so sure. His father married for love. He married for duty. The feast is loud and bright. The Tyrell banners hang alongside the Stark direwolf. Loras Tyrell boasts about the glory they'll win. Brienne of Tarth stands silent in the corner, watching everything with careful eyes. Lord Tarly drinks wine and talks strategy with the Greychon, and Margaery sits beside Robb, playing the perfect queen. She laughs at jokes. Duquesne. She thanks the servants. She makes every lord feel important and every lady feel beautiful. Robb watches her work and feels something like awe. You're good at this, he murmurs during a quiet moment. Margaery's smile is small and private. I'd been training my whole life for this. But I've never had a king worth serving before. The words settle in Robb's chest like warm honey. That night, after the feast ends and the guests stumble away drunk and happy, Robb and Margaery are left alone in their tent. The silence feels heavy, awkward. We don't have to. Margaery starts. I know, Robb interrupts. Asked. He runs a hand through his hair. This is strange for both of us. Strange, Margaery agrees. Codpults. She sits on the edge of the bed, suddenly looking much younger than her years. I thought I was ready for this. I thought I knew what I was doing. She laughs quietly. But I'm scared. The honesty catches Robb off guard. He sits beside her, leaving space between them. Me too, he admits. I keep thinking about my father, about all the mistakes I could make, about all the people depending on me not to fail. Then we'll make mistakes together, Margaery says. She reaches for his hand again. And we'll fix them together too. Robb squeezes her hand gently. Together. They sit like that for a long time, just holding hands in the darkness. Two young people trying to save a kingdom they barely understand. The combined army marches south like a storm. 50,000 Tyrell soldiers join with Robb's northern forces. The banners stretch as far as the eye can see. Gray and green. Winter and summer. Winter and summer. The wolf and the rose. Tywin Lannister hears the news in Harrenhal and shatters a wine cup against the wall. How? He demands. How did that boy manage to secure the Reach? His officers have no good answers. His officers have no good answers. They stammer about marriage alliances and broken promises. Daughters stand. But Tywin doesn't want excuses. He wants solutions. Pull back, he orders. Send word to Joffrey. Tell him to fortify King's Landing. We need more time. But time is the one thing Tywin Lannister doesn't have. Robb and Margaery stand on a hill overlooking their army. The morning sun catches on thousands of spears and shields. It's the largest force assembled since Robert's rebellion. What are you thinking? Margaery asks. Robb doesn't answer right away. He's thinking about his father. This he vowed. Feel honor and justice. About the promise he made at the Twins to marry a Frey girl. A promise he broke. Lord Walder Frey's response arrived yesterday. A short message. 3 words. The North remembers. I'm thinking about the cost, Robb finally says. Every choice has a price. Breaking my promise to the Freys might come back to hurt us. Then we'll deal with it when it comes, Margaery says firmly. Dachi takes his arm. But right now, We have an army, we have a plan, and we have each other. She looks up at him. That has to be enough. Robb wants to believe her. He wants to believe that love and strategy can overcome broken promises and old debts. But deep down, he knows the truth. In Westeros, debts are always paid, one way or another. The army reaches the Ruby Ford within a fortnight. Scouts report that Tywin's forces are retreating, burning crops and poisoning wells as they go. It's a desperate strategy. The act of a man who knows he's losing. He's trying to starve us out, Brienne observes during the War Council. The warrior woman has become one of Robb's most trusted advisors, her tactical mind sharp as her sword. Then we move faster. Loras Tyrell declares, "We chase them all the way to King's Landing if we have to." No, Robb shakes his head. He points to the map. Tywin wants us to chase him. He wants us to stretch our supply lines thin to exhaust our men. Then he'll turn and strike when we're weakest. So what do? Lord Tarly asks. Robb looks at Margaery. She nods slightly, encouraging him. "We split our forces," Robb announces. "Lord Tarly, you'll take 20,000 men and march directly toward King's Land. Make Tywin think that's our main force. The rest of us will swing west, cut through the Westerlands and hit Lannisport." The tent erupts in argument. Half the lords think it's brilliant, half think it's madness. Lannisport, the Great John booms. That's Tywin's homeland. He'll defend it with everything he has. Exactly, Margaery says quietly. Everyone stops to listen. Tywin Lannister's greatest strength is his gold, his mind, his mines, his ports. Everything that makes the Lannisters powerful comes from the Westerlands. She smiles coldly. So we take it from him. Understanding dawns on the lords' faces. If they can capture Lannisport and control Casterly Rock, they cut off the Lannister wealth. They cripple Tywin's ability to pay his soldiers, to buy allies, to wage war. It's risky, Brienne warns. Stawin catches on. He will. Robb agrees. But by then, we'll already be inside Lannisport. And he'll have to choose between saving his home or saving King's Landing. And either way, Margaery finishes, "We win." The lords look at each other. Then, one by one, they nod. The plan is set. The trap is laid. Now they just have to pray it works. The march west is hard. The terrain grows rocky and treacherous. Deed Greywind runs ahead, scouting for danger. At night, Robb and Margaery sit by the fire, talking about the future. When this is over, Margaery says softly, "What will you do?" Robb pokes at the fire with a stick. "I don't know. Go home, I suppose. Rebuild Winterfell. Try to be half the lord my father was." "You're already better than you think," Margaery tells him. She rests her head on his shoulder. "Your men love you. Your people believe in you. That's worth more than all the gold in Casterly Rock." Robb wants to believe her, but he can't shake the feeling that something terrible is coming. Some price he hasn't paid yet. "Do you ever regret it?" he asks. "Marrying me instead of Joffrey?" Margaery is quiet for a long moment. Every day I thank the gods I didn't marry that monster." She lifts her head to look at him. "You're a good man, Robb Stark. A kind man. The realm needs more men like you." They kiss then, soft and gentle. It's not passion, not yet, but it's something real, something growing, something worth Brone fighting for. Nalenport pounds. The attack comes at dawn, just as Robb planned. The gates are breached by battering rams. The walls are scaled by ladders. The Lannister guards, caught by surprise, fight desperately, but it's not enough. Robb leads the charge himself, Greywind at his side. His sword cuts through red and gold. His men follow him like a tidal wave, unstoppable and fierce. Margaery stays back with the reserves, commanding the supply lines and organizing the healers. She moves through the chaos with calm efficiency, saving lives even as the battle rages. By midday, Lannisport is theirs. Robb stands in the town square, breathing hard, his sword dripping red. Around him his soldiers cheer. The wolf banners fly over Lannister territory for the first time in history. "We did it," the Greatjon laughs, slapping Robb on the back. "We actually did it." But Robb doesn't celebrate. He looks at the burning buildings, at the bodies in the streets, at the frightened small folk huddled in doorways. This is victory. This is justice. So why does it feel like ashes in his mouth? Margaery finds him later, standing alone on the docks. She doesn't say anything. She just takes his hand and holds it tight. "I killed them," Robb whispered. "Men who were just following orders. Men who had families, children." "I know," Margaery says soft. "That's the cost of war. That's the price of justice." She turns to face him. "But you gave them a choice. You offered surrender. They chose to fight. Did they? Or did Tywin choose for them? Margaery has no answer for that. They stand together as the sun sets over Lannisport. Two young rulers trying to convince themselves that the blood on their hands was necessary. Behind them, a new banner is being raised over Casterly Rock, the direwolf and the rose, side by side. The message is clear. The Lannisters are falling, and nothing will ever be the same. Tywin Lannister receives the news at Harrenhal. His face goes pale. His hands shake. For the first time in his long life, the great lion looks old. "How many men did we lose?" he asks quiet. 10,000, my lord. Maybe more. Tywin closes his eyes. Then Lannisport. Acumen closes his eyes. Then Lannisport. Sue, they've taken the gold mines. The ports. Everything. The tent is silent. Tywin's officers wait for orders, for guidance, for the legendary tactical genius to save them. But Tywin Lannister has nothing left to give. "Send word to King's Landing," he finally says. "Tell Cersei to prepare for negotiations. Tell her," he pauses. "Tell her," he pauses. "Tell her the war is over. Sidey, we've lost." In King's Landing, Joffrey screams and throws things when he hears the news. Cersei tries to calm him, but he won't listen. He demands they fight. He demands they win. "We can't win," Cersei says tiredly. "Not anymore. The Tyrells have joined with the Starks. Our army is broken. Our gold is gone." She looks at her son with sad eyes. "It's over, Joffrey. We have to sue for peace." "Never," Joffrey shrieks. "I'm the king. I'll have all their heads. I'm the king. I'll have all their heads." "You'll do nothing," a new voice interrupts. Tyrion Lannister walks into the throne room, limping slightly from an old wound. Behind him are several City Watch guards loyal to him, not to Joffrey. "What is this?" Cersei demands. "What are you doing?" "Saving our family," Tyrion says calmly. "Joffrey, by order of the Small Council, you are hereby stripped of your crown and placed under house arrest pending negotiations with King Robb Stark." Joffrey's face turns purple. "You can't do this. I'm the king." "You're a bastard," Tyrion says flatly. "Born of incest. Everyone knows it. The only question is whether we admit it publicly or privately." He looks at Cersei. "I'm trying to give us a chance to survive. Don't waste it." Cersei wants to argue. "Bile." But she looks at her son, at his rage and his madness, and she knows Tyrion is right. Joffrey has already lost. "The only question is how many Lannisters will die with him. What are your terms?" she asks quiet. Tyrion hands her a scroll. "These came from Robb Stark this morning. Read them." Robb and Margaery sit on one side of the table. Tyrion and Cersei sit on the other. Between them lies the future of Westeros. "My terms are simple," Robb begins. "Joffrey abdicates the throne. He publicly confesses to being a bastard born of incest. In return, his life is spared and he's allowed to join the Night's Watch." "Unacceptable," Cersei hisses. "Then he dies," Robb says flatly. "And so do you, and Tom, and Marcella, all of you." He leans forward. "I didn't want this war, Lady Cersei. Your family started it when you murdered Jon Arryn, when you tried to kill Bran, when you executed my father." His voice grows cold. "This is mercy. Take it or leave it." Tyrion puts a hand on his sister's arm. "Take it," he advises. "It's more than we deserve." Cersei looks like she wants to strangle them both, but slowly, painfully, she nods. "What about Sansa and Arya?" she asks. "Your sisters. They will be returned unharmed," Robb says. "Immediately. That's not negotiable." "And the Westerlands?" "Remain under Lannister control." Under Tyrion Lannister. Robb looks at the younger Lannister. "You've proven yourself an honorable man, Lord Tyrion. I trust you to keep the peace in the West." Tyrion raises an eyebrow. "You trust a Lannister?" "I trust a man who chooses to do what's right, even when it costs him everything," Robb replies. "That's the kind of lord the Westerlands needs." Tyrion is quiet for a moment. Then he nods. I accept. The treaty is signed. The war is over. Robb Stark and Margaery Tyrell are crowned king and queen of the Seven Kingdoms. A new dynasty begins. One built not on conquest and fire, but on justice and mercy and hope. Months later, Robb and Margaery stand on the walls of King's Landing, watching the sunset. Gray wind lies at their feet, content and lazy. Below them, the city is rebuilding, slowly, carefully. "Do you think it will last?" Margaery asks. "This peace we've built." Robb doesn't answer right away. He thinks about the cost, about the men who die, about the promises broken and the debts unpaid, about Walder Frey sitting in his castle waiting for revenge, about Littlefinger disappeared into the shadows, plotting his next move, about Varys, whispering secrets in dark corners. The Game of Thrones never really ends. It just pauses, catches its breath, waits for the next player to make their move. I don't know, Robb finally admits. But we'll fight for it. Every day, together. Margaery takes his hand. Together, she agrees. They stand like that as the sun dips below the horizon. Two young rulers holding on to hope in a world that usually has none to give. And somewhere in the north, in the ruins of Winterfell, a raven lands carrying a message. Winter is coming, but for now, in this moment, spring has arrived, and it's enough. Far to the east, in Meereen, Daenerys Targaryen sits on her throne and listens to reports of a new king in Westeros. A northern king, a wolf. What do you think, Sir Barristan? She asks her advisor. The old knight considers. I think, your grace, that the game has changed. I think, your grace, that the game has changed. But it's not over. Daenerys smiles. Good. I was getting bored. She stands, walks to the window and looks west, toward home, toward destiny. Tell the masters to prepare the ships, she commands. We sail for Westeros. Soon, in the north, at Castle Black, Jon Snow receives word of his brother's victory. He should be happy. He should be proud. But all he feels is empty, because while Robb was winning his war, Jon was losing his. The wildlings have crossed the wall. The night's watch is broken, and beyond the wall, in the frozen darkness, something ancient and terrible is waking up. Jon looks at the letter from Robb, an invitation to come south, to be legitimized, to become Jon Stark. Everything he ever wanted, everything he ever dreamed of. But duty calls louder than dreams, and Jon Snow has always answered duty's call. He burns the letter. The North needs a king, he tells himself, but the wall needs a sword, and Jon Snow will be that sword, no matter the cost. At the Twins, Walder Frey sits in his great hall and listens to his many sons report on the young wolf's victory. The old lord says nothing. He just strokes his chin and thinks. A promise was broken. A debt is owed, and Walder Frey always collects his debts. Tell the musicians to practice, he says slowly. We'll be having guests soon. A wedding. We'll be having guests soon. A wedding, perhaps. Or a funeral. He smiles, showing yellow teeth. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. His sons laugh nervously. They don't understand. Not yet, but they will. Soon enough. Not yet, but they will. Soon enough. The North remembers, and so do the Freys. Back in King's Landing, Robb wakes in the middle of the night. Margaery sleeps beside him, peaceful and beautiful. Grey Wind raises his head, sensing his master's distress. Just a dream, Robb whispers to the wolf. Just a bad dream. But it didn't feel like a dream. But it didn't feel like a ruin. It felt like a warning. Pelip, something dark and terrible approaching from the shadows. He gets up, walks to the window, looks out at his kingdom, his responsibility, his bird. Somewhere out there, enemies plot, dangers gather, the game continues. But Robb Stark is no longer a boy playing at being king. He's a man who has fought and bled and killed for this crown. A man who has paid the price of power, and he'll pay it again if he has to, as many times as necessary. Because that's what it means to be king, to carry the weight, to make the hard choices, to sacrifice everything for the people who depend on. Margaery joins him at the window, wrapping her arms around him from behind. We'll face it together, she whispers. Whatever comes, whatever the cost. Robb puts his hands over hers. Together, he agrees, and as dawn breaks over King's Landing, the wolf and the rose stand united, ready to face whatever darkness the future holds. Because they are not just king and queen. They are partners. They are allies. They are hope. And hope in the end is the only weapon that truly matters.